Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's CC-Webinar.Live keynote and panel discussion session. Thank you for joining. We would like to also thank to China Mobile International UK Limited for sponsoring today's CC-Webinar.Live session. Now, I would like to pass on the microphone to Eric, who will introduce today's keynote speaker, panelist, and later on moderate this session. For audience, if you have any questions to our keynote speaker or panelists, please do use the chat box option throughout this session. That's all from my side. Over to you, Eric.
Thank you, Aurelia, and I'm delighted to welcome you all out of there. So welcome to this CC-Webinar.Live session. So Care Community is organizing its next Webinar Live panel discussion and knowledge sharing session. Sponsored by China Mobile International. I also and foremost would like to welcome our keynote speaker, Valentina Del Borgo, from China Mobile International, together with all the panelists, Nasya, Sunil, and Benar. So we're talking actually about the topic, which is how can enterprise and telcos capitalize on IoT investments. So during this session, Valentina from CMI will give a 15 to 20 minutes keynote presentation, and we'll join the panel discussion session together with the other industry experts, and we will discuss and share insights related to the latest market trends and what do we see on IoT. For the audience, as Aurelia already mentioned, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box, and we will insert them in our discussion and or at the end of the session. So let's please give a minute to Valentina, Nasya, Sunil, and Benar, a quick minute to introduce themselves, and then we move on to the presentation. So Valentina, may I ask you to start quickly introducing yourself, please?
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are. My name is Valentina. I'm Sales Director at China Mobile International UK and responsible for the carrier sales part of the business. So anything that is from bandwidth, subsea cable, up to data center, IP transit, messaging, roaming, IPX, and now finally IoT. So yeah, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Valentina, and so they can come to you for anything they need at China Mobile International, right? Thank you. Nasya, next, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nasya Skulikariti. I'm the founder and CEO of Apiro Data. We are a solutions and platform company enabling deployment, data collection, processing, and visualization to manage and monitor connected services. Our aim is to enable organizations such as telcos to deploy connected solutions and products more efficiently and faster for a go-to-market product. So if you need anything, please reach out afterwards. I'll be happy to explain more of how we can be part of your ecosystem, your IT ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you, Nasya, and thank you, Nasya, from Athens, and Valentina in London. We go to India, to Sunil. Please, Sunil.
Hi, good afternoon and good evening to all those who have joined us virtually. My name is Sunil David. I'm the Regional Director for IoT for AT&T Global Network Services India Private Limited. I'm responsible for the overall IoT strategy for the India and ASEAN region. In my role, I work very closely with our sales teams in trying to position our IoT capabilities to our enterprise customers. So I kind of look after sales, business development, and marketing initiatives. And IoT being an ecosystem play, a lot of my effort goes towards trying to build our partner ecosystem in the IoT space. So a lot of my effort goes towards trying to work with startups and many very strong niche IoT players. AT&T, as you know, is one of the top telecom companies in the world. IoT is a huge focus for AT&T. And we are one of the leaders in that space. And we have the kind of full stack when it comes to IoT, right from connectivity to analytics. Pleasure to be part of this panel.
Thank you so much. A pleasure having you, Sunil. And last but not least, we go back to Europe, to Paris, to Bernard from Telstra.
Good afternoon to everyone. So yeah, Bernard Bush from Telstra. I look after our global internet platform, which is an important part of IoT these days as well, since most of the data carriage will be over that. We've also, from a company perspective, Australia having a population density about 2% of China's, more kangaroos than people. IoT is a fairly important part of business in Australia. And so we've got quite a few interesting use cases from our region and also across Asia that we can talk about. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard, and we're more than eager to listen to whatever you have to share with us. So thank you so much, and thank you to all the panelists. So I'm happy to give actually the floor now to Valentina Alborgo from China Mobile International, and where she's going to talk us through the IoT topic of today and how China Mobile International is handling IoT. So Valentina, over to you, and good luck.
Thank you, thank you. So can everybody see the screen, I think? See? Okay, so today we were trying to answer the question proposed by the moderator: how can telcos and enterprise capitalize on IoT investment? And I will bring the experience of China Mobile and China Mobile IoT company, will trying to give an idea of what we are doing in the field. So just to give an idea of the numbers of the IoT market size, has been forecasted by the GSMA to be worth 1.1 trillion in revenue by 2025. Some other sources go up to 1.6 trillion. And but I think there is kind of common knowledge that China will be, if not the leader, really up there for the IoT development. And I like this expression that's been used by the GSMA as defining China as the workshop of the world. We are really building the whole ecosystem and one of the biggest producers in terms of electronics and all the components, including the platform that will create an IoT solution. Just an overview of the current state of business of China Mobile. I really would like to wanted to bring these numbers just to give an idea of, especially on the 5G penetration and the number of mobile subscribers we have right now in China. So 133 million, and already 173 million of 5G package customer. And on the IoT development, everything is managed within the China Mobile Group and China Mobile IoT Company in collaboration with the China Mobile Device Company, so which are two separate companies that really manage the end-to-end solution for IoT. And I think it was interesting to show the number of IoT connections we have established in China, 873 million, and also the coverage in terms of narrowband IoT, 346 cities already. The China Mobile company really, as I anticipated, really cover all architecture of an IoT solution, from the chip and the modules that we actually design and produce in-house, to the self-developed connectivity manager platform that we call OneLink, and connect from 2G up to 5G. And now we also develop eMTC technology, and we also design and create all the hardware that we deploy in the IoT solutions, and recently launched also some other smart devices, One Edge and One OS, which will give you, they will be immediately dedicated to 5G service development. Very important is our OneNet platform, which cover all the IoT and software application on the data collected by OneLink, and finally, end-to-end total solution. Today I really would like to show you two videos, one that shows the OneNet capabilities and one that shows the 5G Smart Factory project, which was launched in October last year. So let me start the video for you.
The industrial digital transformation could help create value beyond connectivity, centered on OneNet platform. China Mobile has built an IoT infrastructure for the industry based on its chip, plus modules, plus terminals, plus application, plus platform solution. When massive agricultural devices are connected to OneNet, the platform can adapt to multiple protocols, provide high concurrent data throughput, and continuously optimize planting models through big data technology to reduce planting risks, increase production, and improve quality. High development cost, long marketing time period, and technical difficulties have been the pain points obstructing the intelligentization of home appliances. The combination of OneNet Hewoo app provides the solution combination of module plus SaaS plus app solution to complete the access test in 1 day, prototype production in 1 week, and mass production in 1 month. In addition, our connection with Amazon Echo, Google Home, and Tmall Elf makes the customer services globally available. How to simplify the intelligent upgrade of manufacturing device? OneNet AI enhances productivity and product quality by intensively studying production data and pushing new algorithm models to the device through OneNet Edge computing service. OneNet will continually empower digital transformation of public services, automotive industry, energy industry, and other industries. OneNet. Beyond connectivity.
Now we have the video for the 5G project. This was a 5G Smart Factory project developed for Aya, one of the biggest Chinese multinational selling electronics and home appliances. And I think the video really wants to show the ecosystem and the collaboration between different players to be able to make it happen. So I think it was interesting to see.
Qingdao Haier is a world-famous manufacturing enterprise. It is ranked #1 in retail sales of large household appliance in the world for 10 consecutive years. And it was rated as Fortune Global 500 in 2018 and 2019. In 2019, Brand Z, it became the world's first IoT ecosystem brand as the world's most valuable brand 100. In 2019, Haier, China Mobile, Huawei, and M-Star released the world's first 5G Smart Factory joint solution. The 5G Smart Factory implements intelligent in terms of quality detection, maintenance, machine collaboration, material transportation, energy management, and campus security, achieving the strategic goal of intelligence and green manufacturing. The 5G machine vision system has been deployed in the Haier factory in Qingdao. It significantly improves the online efficiency of visual detection applications and reduces deployment costs and maintenance costs. Through software update, factories can also update the machine vision application in the meantime, which reduces the impact of service interruption caused by the upgrade and maintenance of the industrial computers. The MEC node is deployed in the factory to implement local processing of services, ensuring high security of enterprise production data. In addition, the solution greatly improves the efficiency, comfort, and safety for workers. It can improve the production efficiency of new products, the overall quality of products, and time to market. Therefore, consumers can access and purchase high-quality products faster. Qingdao Haier Smart Factory has the following features based on the Huawei 5G MEC solution. Cloud Edge collaboration implements plug-and-play of edge nodes and supports no maintenance at the local end. the industry's first application for heterogeneous computing in the smart manufacturing field. Heterogeneous hardware with a unique full-mesh non-switching architecture implements high performance and high integration capability. Currently, the Haier Smart Factory in Qingdao has deployed more applications such as campus security, industrial AR, AGV smart driving, and intermachine collaboration. The machine vision solution of the Haier Smart Factory is ready to be implemented in more than 100 of Haier's global campuses around the world. The solution has won the following awards in China: Second China MEC Open Platform Hackathon Application Development Competition Best Technology Innovation Award, Second Blooming Cup 5G Application Collection Competition First Prize. GSMA, China Mobile, and Huawei have started to work together in recent years to develop industry cooperation oriented to business services. The Haier Smart Factory project is also a POC, topic of edge computing, initiated by GSMA. This project successfully verified the new 5G business model between carriers and vertical industries, helping carriers expand enterprise and industry market space. In addition, it improves the deployment efficiency of vertical industries, reduces deployment and maintenance costs, helps enterprises implement digital transformation, and achieves green manufacturing. Currently, China Mobile is replicating and applying the campus network to smart ports, smart airports, smart theme parks, and other industries. 5G MEC will promote the upgrade of the manufacturing structure and provide innovative solutions for high-end manufacturing in the world.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy that. And how we, now that you saw some of the development in China, I'd like to bring you back to what we do as a China Mobile International. We are the entity that develop all the international business of the China Mobile Group. And that's why we will be the bridge between China Mobile IoT company and device company with the carrier and the enterprises in, outside China. And for this year, we're really trying to focus on 5 main products under our iConnect brand. Which will be China SIM, Global SIM, CM Pass, SIM, roaming and solution. Let me just explain a tiny bit more about those scenarios. We can, of course, provide you with SIM and UICC and EUICC coverage for China and Hong Kong, and covering 100% of the population. We can also replicate that on a global scale for smaller enterprises or smaller carriers that need one partner for multiple countries. And this will leverage our partnership that we have in the carrier wholesale market. Of course, our strength is the connectivity management platform as a service. We use our own self. We also use the Ericsson DCP. If somebody will, that could be benefiting from the same platform. And of course, it will be offered as a service, part of a type of billing. IoT roaming, this will be just the development of our IoT offering, our roaming offering. And as you probably noticed, last year there's been more roaming of things than roaming of people. And I fear that will be a trend going forward. And that's one of the solutions we put in place for the roaming. And IoT solution, of course, end-to-end or bespoke. If you as a carrier already have a platform, we can add some consultancy or some hardware. If you need end-to-end, we can do that as well. So, there will be different approach, depends on your situation. Just a quick overview on our full vertical solution that we developed in China. So as you can see, you're probably familiar with some of the names, but let's say for the European market, we're trying to shortlist some of the solution, and we will provide a smart home solution, which will include from the hardware to the connectivity device, connectivity platform, platform to be deployed thanks to the local carrier, and access to cloud. We are hosted by AWS Cloud in Europe. However, it's possible to customize the cloud storage into your own cloud, for example, if you have your own, or maybe a private network solution. Smart utilities will be more and more popular, probably even due to government new policies. Smart city solution, where we take care of, from the management of manhole and pipeline to smart lighting and also smart fire hydrant, smart meter reading. This solution can be deployed by on demand by government, local government, or even sometime by campus or property developer. And the manhole solution, for example, it could be interesting even for deployment in your own network as a carrier, to manage manhole or telephone exchanges as well. Security solution, this is for the outdoor, but also for inside building security. And smart transportation, we cover from fleet management to public transport, security, e-payment, and smart parking. Smart logistic, we can offer solution from as little as management of the pallets up to the management of a big shipping goods and traceability around the world. And finally, industrial IoT. This is one of the the pillars of the Chinese manufacturing, and so we, I must say, we have some expertise on that, so we could surely help. And for Europe, we also thought that maybe some smart agriculture, aquaculture, or livestock management could be of interest for various reasons, and depends on the geographical positioning and the country. But as you can imagine, all these IoT solutions in Europe can be deployed only if we have your help, the carrier help, because we will need the local SIM, the local MB-IoT connectivity, local support, local knowledge. And that's the way we see IoT business here in Europe. We see as a partnership. We can help you with China and Asia Pac. We can help your enterprise to develop your digital transformation if they have operation in China. But we will need your help for deployment in Europe. And really, to close, is important, I think, to I'd like to give a message from a carrier community perspective, and I think IoT can really make us stronger. And it's not a political statement, it's not a political message, but yeah, I think we basically figure out now that anything now will be connected to the internet. And if the carrier are at the forefront of this, we will be managing these changes, this big change together. The IoT also is a bespoke fit, a bespoke matter. That means that with the carrier expertise, the solution can be tailored at the needs. If, for example, a business require some IoT solution, but they don't want the data to go out of their own factories, it can, the telco operator can really provide a solution that is local, can build a private network just for the data to be stored within the factory or even within the borders of the for national security. And the IoT can also enable the digital transformation within our own networks. And we have expertise in that. We are a carrier like you are. We have the same DNA. Let us know if you are experiencing any issue with integration. And, some of the IoT solution can even be deployed with a contact with the consumer, with the subscribers, and can really enable the future digital transformation. So this is all for me, and I'm happy to join the panel now. And I hope you enjoyed. And any question, it can be answered probably separately on a private contact. Thank you.
Thank you, Valentina, and thank you as well for sharing a very impressive service portfolio that CMI has, and the proposition it can give to, let's say, the enterprises and the complete telco market. So really impressed. Thank you for sharing, and congrats on a magnificent presentation. So thank you so much. So guys, moving on now to our panel discussion here at the Webinar.Live session from Care Community. Let's bring in Nastia, Sunil, and Bernard. So welcome to them all again, and let me, Nastia, immediately get into it. As we heard from Valentina, I mean, the world is full now with IoT, on IoT, through IoT, whatever IoT. But there's still some people out there who don't really know exactly what we are talking about. So can you quickly for us, for the people who do not understand or do not understand fully what IoT is all about, can you quickly share with us what is IoT, and maybe you have some examples, and then Sunil, Bernard, and Valentina, you can bump in again as well. So Nastia, please help us.
Certainly. So, well, IoT is really a big umbrella of many things. In its simplest, I would say, definition, the Internet of Things, or IoT, connects objects together, either physical objects, or such as human beings, or mechanical devices and machines together. So it connects processes, people, and things to the internet in order to collect information through smart sensors, and through that information that we're collecting, the data that we're collecting, we're creating insights. So IoT in its core, the value of IoT is the data that we're collecting and the information and the insights that we're getting. So think about it. Most of us these days are wearing some kind of a watch. That is an IoT solution. Smart bells, on the doors, doorbells, IoT solution. Smart lighting in the home, IoT solution. The Alexa, the Siri in the home environment is an IoT solution. Track and trace, things from vehicles to suitcases to, kids and cats and dogs. They're all like IoT solutions. So and you yourself too. And I mean, think about it. When we're looking at what IoT can do and how valuable it can be, and what we've seen in the past year with the pandemic, IoT has been deployed for predictive information on the machines and maintenance, so people don't have to go really to the factory floor to figure out what is happening. Distances, contact tracing. I mean, I can keep going on and on about what IoT is, but simply, what it means, it enables things to connect together and exchange information? Are they pulling or sending information with one another? The majority of the people know machine to machine. That's the the core, or I would say the initial stage of IoT. We went from machine to machine to the Internet of Things, to the Internet of Everything, which was coined by Cisco, to what I like to call now Internet of Humans, because we're getting all connected and everything is going to be connected. So in my opinion, that's really what IoT is.
Thank you. Sunil, you want to bump in, or Bernard?
Sure, sure. Oh. Yeah, so I think Nasya has given a great definition and pretty much covered all the use cases of IoT. In my view, I think I just like to give a very simple definition of IoT. Just basically, you're trying to extract data from the physical world. You're adding context to the data, sending that through a network to the cloud, and that's where you're doing the processing, and that's where you're getting your insights. And most important thing is trying to take decisions based on all the insights you're getting, right? So that's the simplest definition of IoT as far as I'm concerned. And there are enough and more use cases, and Nasya pretty much covered a lot of that. But very quickly, I think we started to see a lot more adoption in manufacturing. A lot of factory automation has started to take place. Companies which are not monitoring the machines before have started to monitor that. Especially in the COVID situation, remote monitoring of machines became very, very popular. Supply chains got very badly disrupted last year. So we started to see a lot more digitization of supply chains last year. And even manufacturers today, especially those who are discrete manufacturers who make automobiles or any consumer appliances, they are now fusing IoT in all the products, because I think what is going to differentiate one manufacturer from the other is customer experience. So the ability to offer connected products and services, ability to extract data in terms of how consumers use those products, and based on the data that you get, able to offer more personalized experiences. I think that's going to be the differentiating factor for the manufacturers. So we're going to see a lot more manufacturers coming up with connected products and services. We started to see a lot more third-party logistics companies use IoT for fleet management, asset tracking, energy and utility companies. I think in India, we have a big initiative where they want to replace conventional meters with smart meters, which have SIMs inside, so that you can get usage data of your consumption. You can go to the cloud, and as a consumer, I can track my energy consumption. A lot of use cases are on smart cities, waste management, lighting, etc. And I just wanted to highlight one important use case, and especially that relates to the current COVID situation. India is one of the largest manufacturers of vaccines, and we're also exporting the COVID vaccine to many countries, and a lot of the vaccines are also obviously for internal consumption. The whole cold chain of the vaccine, because these vaccines have to be kept at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. So monitoring that whole cold chain, making sure that there are no temperature excursions, and in case there are temperature excursions, reporting that, alerting it to the manufacturer. I think that's a great use case to track the pallets which carry these vaccines, monitoring the fleet. We started to see, a lot of these use cases emerge, Eric. I can go on and on, but I'll leave Bernard to maybe address something which we both.
We hear it, Sunil. Thank you so much, and thank you for the use case. So efficiency is a big word in here, or a big goal, or a motivation for IoT. Bernard, please bump in.
So yeah, so just to add, I'd say, IoT is, in reality, it's kind of been around for a long time. I think what's changing now, why it's kind of the interest and excitement about it's building up, is the interaction with the cloud. Because when we say machine to machine these days, it's primarily machine to platform or cloud, right? So it's the fact that we can now process much larger quantities of data in the cloud, and obviously in parallel to that, you've got the ability of mobile networks to generate more data than has been the case in the past, and in the case of some of the newer technologies, also to reduce the latency between the device and the cloud, that enables you to make decisions much more quickly, and doing some kind of real-time tasks that need to be done in real time, and other tasks that can be done with longer latency. So it can be applied to much wider use cases, and also we're seeing it even being used in some simulation where you can adapt the simulation with real-time data constantly. In the case, I mean, in Australia, it's being used for very precise weather forecasting. You know, most people would say in Australia, weather forecasting is easy. It's sunny and hot every day. But the thing is that sunny and hot can change very rapidly into disaster conditions when it suddenly gets to above 40 degrees, or you've got floods, or you know, as happened in the US, you had temperatures suddenly plummet to -30, which put a huge impact on the electricity system. And trying to simulate and model some of these things is now possible with combination of machine learning, which is basically artificial intelligence, and IoT.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and especially on let's say the climate and the weather in Australia, we saw in the past, and especially last year and the year before, a lot of forest, you know, fire and these kind of things. So I can imagine that it's that is really important to have this. Now, Valentina, I mean. A lot of people out there, they might think, okay, so how do I start with the IoT? Where do I see it? And let's see it from an enterprise point of view, and how can carriers, let's say, help there? Because by the end of the day, not all, let's say, the IoT initiatives, they go well, and I think we all learned about it. So how can we help them, and how can maybe China Mobile International help them?
Yeah, so definitely, you know, the IoT should be a solution to a problem, really. You know, I can show you a lot of the IoT solution I have in, you know, in my pocket. However, you know, we need to talk to the enterprise. We need to understand what is the most challenges that they have right now. It could be, you know, an industrial production issue. It can be the crop not growing properly in a, you know, in a smart, in a factory, in a farm. You know, let's talk to the enterprise. Let's see how they are facing also the challenges of the pandemic. And I think out of, you know, this conversation, the IoT solution will come to mind. And with the collaboration of the local carriers, we can really try to find the best bespoke solution for the carrier, for the enterprise, and be able to, you know, customize and tailor it to the needs. So, you know, I find myself really talking, you know, last year we were mainly talking about subsea capacity, and this year we are, you know, waking up to phone calls which answer to, you know, LoRaWAN issues, if you know, how to connect the device to the internet if there is no battery available. If you know, there is a lot of work, lot of integration to be done in terms of technologies and in terms of really what the carrier can actually do in order to really make the IoT solution possible. So I think from a carrier perspective, we need to get together, we need to partner, we need to talk about it. And I think once the, you know, the enterprise is giving us a challenge or a problem that they have, we can together really give a solution.
No, sure, absolutely. But I also think that you and with your teams out there globally, and Sunil and Nastia and Benar as well, are of course proactively going to the enterprises and tell them and educate them what is out there and how, you know, things can be optimized, how things can be more efficient, and how it can help them and increase actually their business. And talking about business, I mean, and Nastia, maybe I can come to you. I mean, telling us that IoT is the future, that's what we hear a lot, or at least IoT will be a big part of it. On the business side, what key business models and services will drive the revenues, and for who?
Yeah. So this is actually a very nice segue from what Valentina was saying earlier about how we can help enterprises and even telcos for that matter, because it's about creating that value. And earlier I mentioned that the value in IoT, it comes from the data that we are collecting from those connected devices. However, there is no such thing as one size fits all in any business when we're looking at the business case. So and also we need to segregate that again into internal and external value. Because when we're looking at IoT, it doesn't mean necessarily that a company or an enterprise or a telco will be creating those services and solutions to service their customers or to promote to their customers. It could be a case of putting together internal connectivity for to enhance their operations, to make their operations more efficient, to understand what's happening with their products. So that's the internal value that it's coming, getting more insights from the customers, understanding the customer more so they can service them a bit more efficiently. And then we can look at it on the external benefits. That is all the insights that we get from the internal research that you have to do in order to understand, what is happening within the organization, where the problem lies, what challenges is the company and operation is facing, and creating solutions specific with connected products to solve, and get information on those. And then externally, then how do we monetize those? And there's over 10 different types of ways that we can monetize, IoT in any service. Valentina in her presentation, she mentions as a service, and we all heard that SaaS, PaaS, iPaaS, we can keep going, on and on about the different ways that you can monetize your service once you understood what you need to build. So, the most common one is, of course, the SaaS model as a business model. Then usage-based models, they're quite common within the Internet of Things, IoT community. Also results-orientated types of models, they're quite important. Collaborative revenue sharing, because the IoT is like, you will find that one company services and does everything. The stack of IoT is quite deep, from the sensors all the way to the analytics and rich communications and everything in between, connectivity, ingestion of data, analyzing the data in the platform and so on and so forth. So it's a big stack. And what usually happens is people that would in the past think as competitors, now they are collaborators. We're working together in order to service, the customers and the customer needs. So together we're putting services to address those problems. An example would be disaster recovery. If something happens, people can get together and deploy smart services, from tracking individuals and different things to monitoring of the environment, temperature, and you have many different collaborators. The sensor providers, the hardware manufacturers, is one collaborator. The connectivity partners, the local telco or even international telco, is another collaborator. Then you have the platform providers, such as ourselves, that we're getting in the middle and they help bridge that, and then we get into the analytics. And then I would like to bridge that to our traditional community discussions, which is voice and SMS, which comes into play because it can also address that issue. Through SMS, we can pass the information, the insights. We can also bring in voice in order to move it to the rich communication in the future. So this is a very large discussion. I think we need to have like a separate webinar just to talk about the business cases and actually the business models. But I think the three key ones, main ones, are the SaaS model, and they are the revenue sharing model, is the results orientated type of model, and what they all of this have in common, or what they're trying to address, is monitoring, maintenance, and increasing revenue. So when we're looking at building this IoT business model, key things to look at is like, okay, the problem, as Valentina mentioned, where are those key areas align? Then once the problem is identified, the key stakeholders within the organization, because there is no one place you can go with IoT. You got both the operations and you have the IT that get involved. That's where IoT comes in. So you have the C-suite, you have the developers, you have the marketing and sales. So everybody within the organization have to come together, understand the changes that will happen, how they happen, and how they can implement it and have the buy-in before we get to the next level, which is have a go-to-market plan and a monetization plan. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Nasha. I mean, that was really, you know, taking the whole chain and the whole supply chain with it as well, because everybody can benefit from it, and especially with the 3, or maybe even some people would argue with you, but maybe 4 or 5 even different business models which are out there. But Bernard, from your point of view, I mean, leading the strategy within the Telstra group, and especially on everything which has to do with internet, and as a specialist on this one, where do you see the key revenue drivers?
So look, I mean, there's I mean, one of the things that makes IoT interesting from a carrier perspective, I would say, that we found, is certainly that from a device perspective, once you've delivered a device with IoT to a customer, typically they don't want to change the SIMs in and out every year. And so the investment that you make, you can drive a customer relationship. It's a more lengthy customer relationship than you get in other kinds of business, where sometimes you can, you know, you have customers wanting to change operators every year. It's because the device is out there, it's remote. They don't want to change it. So it does drive a closer relationship with the customer, which is good from a revenue perspective for us. The other thing that we found, and especially in our home market, but we're probably going to be driving this more internationally, is that to really get the most out of IoT from a revenue perspective, you need to be ready to at least develop some applications. And we've gone for fairly wide-ranging applications that we can sell to a large number of customers in particular areas. So, for instance, asset tracking. We've developed our own applications to put around the IoT. So we're not just selling the network underlay, but also some of the application layer. And the key areas we focus on in Australia, because of its size, asset tracking is important because of, you know, you've got a country that's 3/4 of the size of China, with 25 million people in it. So a lot of assets. It's important to find out where, you know, pallets are in the country, where trucks are, this kind of stuff. That's and so that's a fairly widely applicable kind of application. The other one is because space in buildings in Australia, especially Sydney, has very, very high cost of buildings. And I think it's the same in Europe as well. So applications that are focused around monitoring how much buildings are in use, who's using what desk, especially now as we come out of COVID, I think we're going to see a lot more smart desk policy, people sharing offices. So this kind of building management type applications, I think can drive a lot of value. Specifically in our home market, water utilization is a key thing. So, but it could be also applicable in other countries like the Middle East. You don't want to be, you know, crops. You don't want to be watering them 2 hours before it rains. So it's taking input from sensors in agriculture, for instance, to see whether the ground is getting too dry or whatever. But then also taking input from weather systems and stuff like that to know, you know, if there's a rain coming, to monitor the watering systems and managing water supply as well. So and the latest things are things, you know, like video applications, video AI. So for instance, McDonald's is using us for monitoring so video feeds from within the McDonald's to see how many people are queuing up or whatever, and using that to manage employees and that kind of stuff. So you can use it, generate more revenue from than just providing the network layer, but also trying to go up the stack, and then relying on partners more for the niche applications, like manufacturing, which can be so different from one manufacturing process to another. So you then have to work with integrators and other suppliers too. So it's a quite wide designing. What do you do in-house versus what do you do with partners?
Okay, thank you, Bernard. Sunil, moving on, what does it mean when the industry tells us to build an ecosystem that serves true digital transformation that goes beyond? I mean, what do they do with it? What do they mean with it? Is everything okay, safe, or is there something that we need to be afraid of or not? Or what can you tell us?
Sure, Eric. So when you talk about the whole ecosystem, Eric, if I'm talking from a telco perspective, I think the role the telco should play is being an ecosystem orchestrator. Because there are so many stakeholders when you talk about the IoT solution, the sensors, the devices. Of course, the telcos provide the connectivity, but then you talk about the applications, the analytics, the integration with the backend, ERP applications. So I think what is important is for the telco to play the role of not just orchestrating the whole relationship between all these players, but also providing that end-to-end IoT service, enabling that whole service. Because what the customers want at the end of the day is that it doesn't matter what technology I deploy, irrespective of what connectivity I use, I want my problem to be resolved. I want my KPIs, the key performance indicators, to be met, right? That's what they want. So they just kind of want one neck to choke, so to speak, right? And the telcos can actually play that role very well by working with all these stakeholders, Eric. And the other point which I wanted to mention, Eric, is that if you really have to expand the ecosystem, so one is the IoT ecosystem where the telcos work with all the other stakeholders, put together the whole solution and take it to an enterprise customer. The other important thing is if you really want to grow the IoT market, I think the need is for the telcos to also collaborate with adjacent industries. So for example, the telcos working with the automotive industries. Today, the connected car market is a huge market. For example, for AT&T, we have more than 43 million connected cars today using our connectivity services. Now, how the telcos can maybe work with the automotive industry, form that collaboration, and how do we leverage the data that is being generated, right? And working on revenue share models. I just gave the example of the telcos partnering with the auto industry. The telcos can also partner with the healthcare industry. The telcos can partner with maybe the retail industry. So I think the future battles are going to be between ecosystems. It's not going to be between one player to the other. It's going to be an ecosystem versus an ecosystem battle going forward. And I think if the telcos are able to leverage that to their advantage and each one gets their share of the pie, then I think it's a win-win for all, because I think this is a huge market. I don't need to eat somebody else's breakfast. There's enough opportunity out there. And I think as long as we have the right solution optimized for that customer requirement, I think, it benefits everybody, including the telcos and all the other stakeholders, Eric, in my view.
Okay, thank you. Now, Valentina, do you agree with Sunil? I mean, in your presentation, you tipped on it already, but maybe you can give us share maybe another example with us where you really see that the partnering is important and building the ecosystem, that really serves the digital transformation, which actually goes further than we see today.
Yeah, I think, IoT by definition is an ecosystem. I need a machine to talk to another machine, to talk to a human, to talk to a sensor, and then things travel from one country to another. So I will need partners, I will need other players to take part of the process. I need to integrate different technologies. And then on top of the IoT by itself seems not sufficient. I can collect the data, but how do I read the data? How can I make sense of it? So the IoT become, like a big Hoover other needs of other technologies, and then you have the development of what we call AI, the CDE. So a combination of IoT with artificial intelligence, with cloud computing, with edge and big data. So, and all of that, it will go to a maximum potential if it's powered by 5G connectivity. So, by itself as well, it will be, an ecosystem of technology, an ecosystem of player, and an ecosystem of different, let's say, different disruptions, different processes. So yeah, but by all means, if you want to, if things will have to be all connected, then there is, the world will need to be all connected on the people level, processes level, and technology level.
And the current situation since last year is let's say, pushing it as well into a journey of the digital transformation, I guess. Now, looking at the time, guys, we're moving slowly to the end, and as Nasya already said, we need to do another one. We need to talk, and we need to talk further and in more detail. So Nasya, you're on, and we'll organize this. Absolutely no problem. We're happy to do so. Now, my last thing is always like, okay. So how does the near future look a little bit? I mean, what is there out there? What we can expect more from IoT? How does the future look? So maybe Nasya, from your side, you can start. Enlighten us. What's out there? What's coming to us?
I think we've already covered a lot of the information of what the future holds through the discussion. We can expect a lot more collaboration across across the different players, not only within the industry, the telco industry itself, but the parallel, I would say, industries, in order to provide an interconnected world. And that's really what the future holds. It will be interconnected more and more. Everything will be based on data. Businesses will be data driven than what it was previously product driven. And you probably heard or read somewhere that what we do expect is the infrastructure, it will get more accessible, a lot more efficient in terms of costs. Edge computing is very important because it provides an additional layer of security of processing things within the organization on the edge. The AI, Valentina, touched upon it earlier. It will be very important, as long as also AI. Those will continue to be a big part. Security is the key word, lately, not only lately, it's been like for a couple of years now, but it becomes more and more important in order to provide the trust for the end user to adopt the solutions that we're creating for the IoT. And personally, I believe blockchain will play a big role in the security. So we can expect to see a lot of that. So in terms of where we're going to go as IoT progressing, IoT is an umbrella. So underneath that umbrella, and you've got obviously the different elements and the different products and the different solutions. It will not work on its own. It needs the ecosystem, it needs collaboration, and an open mind to look at things from a different perspective in order for these services to be successful. One of the key reasons why a lot of the deployments of IoT have not been successful, it used to be 80% of the deployments that could not get past the pilot stage. It has reduced slightly, is because people understand what is happening a little bit more, is buy-in, not only internally, because the whole company needs to understand why we're deploying this the services, also externally, because the customers do not know what they don't know. So they don't understand IoT, they don't understand they need IoT, they don't understand how it can be affecting their businesses and their lives, and it will touch every single business and every single person. It's already touching the majority of us. So collaboration, working together, having an open mind in terms of technology, edge computing, advancements in AI, and AR, and security.
Thank you. So team, together everybody achieves more is in its place here. Well, that's what you're saying. So thank you, Nasya. Sunil, from your point of view, give us your insight in the glass bowl. What's out there?
Right. So Eric, I'm very bullish about the growth of IoT, and what we're going to see, emerge in the future is this whole convergence between AI and IoT, because IoT by itself is not sufficient. You extract the data, but obviously you need to make sense of it and get those insights. But the convergence of AI and IoT, I think that is going to drive a lot more technological change. That will drive a lot more adoption. We're also going to see, the cost of devices coming down. We're going to see a lot more edge being used, AI on the edge. I think we're going to see a lot more use cases around edge. And then 5G is definitely going to drive a lot more adoption, especially with massive machine type communications. The connection density is going to be much higher. So I think that is definitely going to play a big part in growing the IoT market. And I think the most important thing is that for enterprises, now they can innovate around the business model, leveraging the power of IoT, and you combine that with AI and all the other technologies. I think that is going to be very transformative for them. I think that is why I'm really bullish that the IoT market is just going to grow. Good for the telcos and good for the enterprises as well. Eric.
Perfect. Thank you, Sunil. Bernard.
So look, I mean, there's a lot of areas that I think it's going to develop further. I mean, so NB-IoT, so narrowband, means you can deploy much larger number of devices. The Chinese are already leading in that respect, because low power, and you can put them deeper in the ground. So you can monitor things even underground in some cases, because they need lower power, so the mobile signal goes further in to them. Security is kind of an interesting point, especially from my internet hat on. With billions potentially of IoT devices in the planet, if someone can kind of start using those as bots to attack particular websites, you could get DDoS attacks that are absolutely monstrous if you're not careful. So yeah, the security piece is important. Also, this is coming into the AI side, I guess. The new architecture, such as what's called digital twin. I don't know if anyone's heard of that, which is basically you're putting you're modeling real time with IoT sensors, production systems or electricity systems, and then you're able to basically visualize going forward. So you take a situation now, and then you can do a what if analysis going forward. What if the temperature goes down to -30 tomorrow? What's going to happen to this whole system? So you can kind of basically take your IoT system and then do what if analyses to prepare for unusual situations or disasters potentially, and that can help to protect us from situations that otherwise we wouldn't be able to deal with in the short term. So then of course you've got the whole eSIM, the more deployments of eSIM, which makes it easier for manufacturers to put SIMs into their devices and then let them be deployed globally, so that just makes the optimization of processes involving IoT easier for manufacturers. So all of these things are really basically make it easier and cheaper to deploy it, and also you can do more with the information that you get out of them going forward.
Okay, thank you, Bernard. Valentina, famous last words for this CMI webinar live session. So what do you have still under the hood within CMI for us, which we don't know yet, and what we can expect in the near future?
Yeah, so I would say for us, we are going to develop in the domestic market in China. However, in Europe, we are right at the beginning. So really, what we can maybe share this year, it will be just a minor part of what we're going to share next year. The development is faster than we actually imagine. And especially with the 5G development, everything can be amplified and make it more complicated. And the solution is solution to really can be unimaginable. The way you see the future, you know, we see a communication without boundaries, a communication that you know, can even include our bodies as part of it. And that will push us completely on a different level. So you know, we can focus on the saving money, of streamlined processes, of making sure our networks are ready for the big jump. However, you know, this future with you know, where everything is virtual and everything is connected, it might arrive sooner than we imagine, and we need to be ready. So, and the way to be ready is really to keep studying, to keep working together, and to keep, you know, try to be the protagonist of this change. Otherwise, we will be, let's say, someone else will make these changes, and it will be difficult to really cope with it. So from our side, 5G development and everything that is, you know, IoT plus AI, cloud computing, big data, and edge computing together.
Okay, thank you very much. And with these famous words from Valentina Alborgo from China Mobile, I would thank everybody out there, ladies and gentlemen. We came to, unfortunately, to the end of this session. So I would like to thank you, the audience. I would like to thank my panelists, Valentina, Nasia, Bena, and Sunil.
Thank you.
And of course, sponsor China Mobile International for your participation, your interesting insights, your content sharing, and your views, of course. So for me, it's ciao for now. I'll see you next time on live here at the webinar. Again, China Mobile International. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vale. Thank you so much, Nasia, Sunil, and Benar. Hope to see you all soon out there, guys. And
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Till next time.
Bye. Bye.
Till next time. And
Goodbye.
now
Goodbye. Thank you.
I'll give the floor back to the studio in Berlin. So over to you, Aurelia. Thank you so much. Ciao, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Dear all, we are at the end of this webinar session, and I would like to thank again China Mobile International UK Limited for sponsoring this session, our keynote speaker, Valentina, for her interesting presentation, and all the panelists for joining and sharing their knowledge with us. Thank you to the audience for participating and listening. Recording of this session will be uploaded soon on our CC Media portal. We are looking forward to welcoming you in both virtual and physical events this year. Please visit CC Events portal for more information. If you are interested in supporting and sponsoring one of our future webinars, please contact CC team. For all updates and fresh content, follow us on our social media. Also, subscribe to our CCGCCM Telegram news channel to receive exclusive invitations to our upcoming webinar sessions. Stay safe and healthy. Goodbye.